Welcome to Uncaged on the talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel. I'm Adam Catterall. Pleasure as always to be in your company. And look who's back. The one, the only, Mr. Brendan Loughnane. Fresh, if you keep up to date with him on social media, from a whirlwind trip to Ibiza. Yeah, celebrating the semi-final victories, hurtling to the final with a little bit of a trip to the White Isle, didn't you, lad?
Yeah, we definitely can't talk about that one, Adam. So we'll keep that one moving quick. Let's stick to MMA only.
I'm just saying that, you get a bit of sun on your face, enjoy the riches of victory, yeah?
I'm just really happy to be back in the gym today and away from everyone. Let's just put it that way.
Sweating it out, been in the sauna. He's just done Bikram yoga. He's just done Bikram yoga for an hour just to get rid of Ibiza, and now he can start his pre-camp.
Yeah, we're in.
Listen, we've got loads to get stuck into throughout the course of the show. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, but we're starting big. Last week, everybody was talking Manchester. Everybody was talking the reunion of a band. Listen, forget that double act. I've got a better Mancunian double act for you, right? How about two Mancs that are in the finals of the PFL this year? That's right, hurtling towards $1 million paychecks for one of them once again, and gold around their waist. One of them's already here. You just seen him. Here's the other one. Erling Haaland's biggest fan. The one and only Dakota Ditcheva. How are you, Dakota? You good?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, really well. Thank you.
Great to have you back on the programme.
Thank you.
Obviously, this year has been absolutely flawless so far in the PFL. We've got a final to get stuck into, obviously, with Taylor Santos, which we're going to get extremely excited about. But how has it been for you? Because on the outside looking in, mate, it's looking like you haven't even got out of second gear yet.
No.
You're just having a wheel of a time in there.
That has literally been it. Yeah, I've kind of just been enjoying myself, to be honest. But I feel like that's what makes a dangerous fighter, when they're happy and, just loving what they're doing. So I feel like that's what's happened to me this year. I've been in America training hard, and then I've obviously got some good stoppages in this season, and I'm flying at the moment. Yeah, I'm excited for the final.
You've been referred to as the most brutal lady in MMA at the moment. I think when we were reviewing your semi-final, actually, a couple of weeks back, Bren, you might remember this, I made that comparison to Joanna, but more spiteful, that next level. I mean, I love Joanna to pieces, absolutely. But this just feels like the evolving of the next level of fighter.
Yeah, I do get compared to her quite a lot, to be honest. But she actually messaged me before the fight, because obviously she's from top team, American top team, same gym as me. And she messaged me good luck and gave me a bit of advice before. And I just replied to her, I was like, I'm going JJ style this time. So people comparing me to her, like, that's just a massive compliment for me, because that's someone I've looked up to for a long time.
Before you speak to him, right, and he's got loads of questions for you, no doubt, he went to United at weekend, him.
I know,
and he was supporting him. I know. Weren't you, lad?
And his manager, Jose, as well. I've already replied to them stories. I've already been on it.
You know what? I'm going to be totally honest, yeah. I've kept up this facade far too long. I don't like football. For all these people that think I'm a Man United fan, yeah, I'm about to let the cat out of the bag, yeah. I don't even like football, yeah. I got dragged there because I promised Jose Diaz, my manager, said, all right, lad, come to Manchester and I'll take you to the game and all that.
Who's supposed to be a City fan? I swear you bought him a City shirt last year.
Who did?
You, I'm sure you bought him a City shirt last year.
No wonder that message don't make sense now. You DM me saying, where's his City shirt? I'm like, what you on about? Why? I've not bought him a City shirt.
Did you not buy him a City shirt last year?
Who's spreading rumours like that?
I'm sure I saw it on his story. I was like, how are you buying him a City shirt and then taking him to United?
Right, let me finish anyway, yeah? So I've landed,
she's done you. She's only been here 2 minutes, mate. She's delivered a knockout again.
Listen, I've landed at the airport, right? I've just done 48 hours in a beef. Let me tell you, the last thing I wanted to do was go to the football. It was absolutely painful, yeah? So,
especially United.
Got on the train and got there. I'm not joking. He had to wake me up about 3 times. He kept going, bro, you snoring? I was like, I was snoring at the game. I kept falling asleep, yeah? And anyway, I've repaid the favour back now. He's back. But one thing I will say, yeah, is that football is boring, mate. Like, literally, it was... Adam, I know you're not even really a football fan, are you? Let's be honest.
You've took him to the wrong gaff. Take him to the Etihad. You'll get miles more entertainment.
Well, that's what I mean. You won't be falling asleep there. Why do you want to go Legoland? What else do you expect from that place?
Nah, you know what? There wasn't much going on, I'll be honest. It was a really poor performance all around, wasn't it?
What score did they lose?
3-0. Horrific.
She's absolutely irrelevant
No
talking
comment.
about this, because her guys are flying. Are you lining up yet another Erling Haaland? He actually dished it out at the weekend, didn't he? When he got his hat trick, he dished out I think we're calling it the Dakota Ditcheva.
I know people were
celebration.
Yeah. Saying that he's copying me now, but I want one of the players to bring something new up, and that's what I'm waiting for this season now to get. I've got till November for them to get a different celebration going, and maybe I can pull some out of the bag. But I always say I've got to get a good stoppage myself. I don't feel like unless I have a good performance, then I can't, be doing something like that. So got to pull it out of the bag myself.
Talk to me about finals. Taylor Santos. Listen, a lot of people that watch our show know all about Taylor Santos on her time inside the UFC, and they'll have watched her rise, obviously, in this season of the PFL, and obviously now matched up against yourself. What challenges do you see in her come November?
Honestly, I think it's just experience, and I know she's tough. I've watched her in the UFC before. I was always impressed with her when she used to fight, so it's not like someone I've not watched. I'm not in denial about how good she is, but at the same time, like this season, she hasn't really pulled anything out the bag that I've been like, oh, I need to be careful of that. She's got split decision with the girl I've just stopped in the first round. She went again with Liz Carmouche. She didn't pull out any stoppage or anything special in that. So I feel like I'm definitely more dangerous than her, but obviously the experience is going to play in her part, so I just need to be ready for that.
Did you see Kayla's notes on you? I think it was last week. I can't remember when I was watching the interview. She was asked a question about this season. Obviously, Kayla Harrison is who I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Who's done extremely well in the PFL and now doing extremely well inside the UFC. And she was asked about you, and she was extremely complimentary. Did you manage to catch it?
I've got told about it, but I haven't actually seen the video myself yet, so I need to watch it.
Well, she's predicting knockouts, mate.
She is.
She's predicted a knockout in the final, and she's predicted that you will take care of Taylor Santos. And if that does come to fruition, I mean, that is some statement for a first season on the international scene in the PFL. I know that you had your European stint last year, but to be able to do that first season and to take out someone like Taylor, if that is to come through in the final, I mean, forget the $1 million paycheck. Well, I say forget the $1 million paycheck. No one's forgetting the $1 million paycheck. That's why we're all here, isn't it? You know what I mean? But what a statement that is. For I suppose the start, because I'm sure there's many more things to come.
Yeah, definitely. I think the level of girls that have been in this tournament, there's no denying like kind of my level now. The fact that I've been able to keep up with everyone in this season, like people are kind of shutting up a little bit now and kind of giving me the credit that I feel like I deserve. But definitely, if when I beat Taylor Santos, like that's just massive for me. Everyone used to say that she beat Shevchenko for the UFC title, so no one can deny that she's a top level opponent. And when I beat her, then no one's going to be able to deny the fact that I am up there at that level. I'm not saying I'm the number one in the world, but I'm up there, and that's one thing that I won't take from anyone once I've won this fight.
I feel like in this final here now, we've both got a tough night. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no two ways about it. Yeah, we've both got really tough opponents. It's definitely our hardest fights of the tournament.
Yeah.
But there's no denying how good that we've both looked this year. We've both been on absolute tears. It's the best that we've both ever looked. And if you've never forget my speech, I know you didn't forget my speech. Yeah, we'll have to bring that one back up because did I tell you about Adam?
Only about 16 times, Brent. Yeah. You've told me all about it.
As I said, we've got one world champion tomorrow, and we're going to have another one very soon. And this is it now. This is the moment. But a bit of advice now here is don't let this be a moment that'll get you carried away, because it's just another fight. Yeah. Like, I used to always think to myself, oh, but when I get to that final, man, it's 5 rounds. It's the night before. Am I going to be like, fuck, it's the main event, it's $1 million. You think all these emotions run through you. And I've seen it previously. People let that moment take them away, because I like to say, not to put a bit more pressure on it, but like, one's going to leave bang average and one's going to be rich the next day. I remember walking to the arena, Adam, and thinking, someone's about to break even and someone's about to leave here and change the whole family's life. Do you know what I mean? Like that. That's the level of pressure that's on it, but you can't think of it like that at the time. So just advice from me, because I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to be there getting my second one. And I've actually heard that you're the main event above me.
Am I?
This is what I'm hearing down the
What's
grapevine.
going on there?
I've heard. So listen, I'll be sat in the crowd watching your one. I'll be sat with my belt waiting for your one.
Oh my god. Who would have ever thought that? Manchester's going to hate me after this.
Do you know what I'm saying? We're both coming home with 2 big fat pieces of gold, Adam.
Oh
Do you believe this?
I believe that they judge the pecking order of the PFL on what football team you supported. So that's why I believe that the
Maybe he'll learn his lesson now. He'll learn his
Maybe
lesson.
you should learn your lesson, lad.
He's
Exactly.
faking it at United. Really, he should have faked it at City, shouldn't he? Because he would have got better.
Well, listen, you get to parade Joes round the arena and all that, and round the footy match, mate. They don't even bother me. I was sat right back in the nosebleeds.
I'm not surprised when you're asleep at the stadium.
Yeah, true. I think they know that I'm blagging it.
In all seriousness, I know we keep flitting off into football, but what you've just said there is quite prominent, Brendan. I just want to stay on that about the mentality of the occasion compared to the mentality of the fight. Dakota, you're bred for this. You've been doing this all your life. You've got family heritage that has been doing this for a long, long period of time.
Yeah.
You've been here and done it 1,000 times in your head. It's just a case of carrying it out on the evening, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but advice like that from Brendan, because I even took a little bit on board when they showed you that emotional message that they'd done from the family, and I saw your reaction. You was like, I got too emotional about it last time, this time, like, thanks everyone, but I know what I've got to do. And I totally understood, because I got dead emotional in my family video, but then at the same time, I was trying to just say to myself, it's just another fight, and emotions can obviously take over a little bit, and with it is a massive moment, like Brendan's saying. You go home with, like, close to $1 million, you go home with, like, not even half of it. So I totally understand what he's saying there, and I will take that advice on board. Like, it's obviously the first time. I know I've fought plenty of times before, and every fight is a big deal to me, but this is a big fight. So advice like that from someone who's done it before is massive.
No, I know exactly what you're saying there. Sorry, Adam, but I know exactly what you're saying, because I remember the first year he put that laptop in front of me, or that iPad, and was like, and it's like a 7-minute message of good luck, good luck, good luck. And then the occasion was like, the occasion started to hit me then. Like, wow, this is big. And I lost that year. I lost the fight.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with that at all. But I'm just saying, I was feeling it at that point.
Yeah.
Because the moment was like, wow, all these people are here behind me, whatever. And then they tried to do it again. I didn't know they were going to do it again, but they put it again. And I just looked at it and I just switched off, because I thought, nah. You're not doing this to me again. And I passed it back and I went, yeah, you got me with that last year, but you've got to be stone cold with it.
Yeah.
You've got to be like, I'm nipping to the gym here for a little straightener with someone. That's how I think about it now. That's it. You can't.
I'm having a little straightener in the gym. Yeah, Sam, mate.
No, listen. The coach came up with that one, because we used to travel to different gyms to spar and try and, like, have their gym watch the fight, make it like I was going into enemy gyms. I did it a few times. Not enemy gyms, but trying to make it as hostile as possible. Mm-hmm. So on fight night, my coach would remind me, we're just nipping down to one of them gyms, and I heard this kid's half decent, and we try and, like, bring some shine away from the moment, kind of. Yeah. Because you can let it get away with you, Adam. Like, literally, you can let that moment take you. So yeah, that's the best advice I can give you for this moment. Like, even the night before, don't big it up in your head like, oh, it's that tomorrow. I know it's hard. Your first season, it's really, really hard. Yeah. But look at the way you've dealt with it so far. You're dealing with it all perfect. You couldn't be dealing with it any better. You're gonna have me there, my team, my family, your family, and we're all a big team out there. So I am actually really looking forward to it.
I am as well, actually. I think it'll be like, they kept us apart the whole time. Now, like, we'll be in, like, Saudi Arabia all together. Like, it's just going to be crazy. I should probably say
all the Mancunians in one place is going to be absolutely crazy. It's all right. You can reveal where the actual final is. I think I've done it about 65 times on this show, mate. Don't worry about it. If anybody's coming for it, they'll come for me. They won't come for you. You're right. How's Miami treating you? Because I speak to Brendan all the time about being a bit of a gym nomad. He's up, down, and everywhere. Yeah. Dubai, Thailand, and all these types of places. Trained in Manchester, obviously back home last time. How's Miami treating you?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I'm proper, like, at home here now. I'm a little bit, like, OCD and very, like, routine set. So for me, like, when I'm in England and traveling to different gyms and getting my training in different places, it's kind of too much for me. So having everything under one roof over here is just, like, it's the best thing I've ever done. Yeah, best thing I've ever done. I'm really at home over here.
Have you trained in Miami, Brent, at any point?
No, well, probably the only place on planet Earth that I haven't, to be honest. But
Next time.
yeah. You know what? I went there on holiday once, and I was like, I've got to see the gym, and so I got a little ride down there and had a look. And I remember, like, must have been a decade more, and Robbie Lawler walked past me, and I was like, "Wow, Robbie Lawler's he was just doing his strength and conditioning in there." Do you know what I mean? Might have even been longer. Could have been about 12, 13 years ago. And
yeah, you've been at it a bit, mate. You've been at it a bit.
No,
you know what I mean.
It was. I've
Don't
got
age yourself now, lad.
Few grey hairs now. Do you know what I mean? But mate, I was looking at my record the other day. I'm 30-5. Like, who is 30-5, mate? Name me someone else. What is going on? Am I stuck in this forever? I was literally thinking to myself, how many more tournaments are you gonna do, mate? Please, like. But that's good for you, though, Dakota, because I can pass all this wealth of experience on to you and the knowledge of these kind of moments.
All right, Grandad. Listen, you take care of your tournament, she'll take care of hers. All right?
Well, hey, she's doing a good job with me. She's doing a lot better than I did the first time round. You know what I mean?
No, it's all good. How have you? In fact, that's an interesting point that you've just made there, Brent. How have you found the tournament? Because it's unusual. We speak about it a lot on the show.
Yeah. That's a good question.
MMA, like you have a fight, and you don't know when your next one's coming. So you're in and out of camps and all that. You know, if you were going from start to finish, you kind of know in your head, right? I've got 8 months, and I'm going to do 4 fights. How have you found all that?
No, I found it all right, to be honest. I think it's helped that I've got, like, fast finishes, definitely.
Yeah.
That definitely helps. So it's probably been a little bit of an easier first tournament for me. But I think the main thing is mentally, just, like, you're straight back to camp. You can't, like me being away from family as well, can't go back home. You just can't switch off. Like, you're just straight onto the next thing. And even if you do have a little 1 week away, it's still at the back of your mind that you've got this next fight soon. So it's like, I think mentally it's just, it's a lot, but I love to just live in the gym anyway. Like, they were trying to kick me out of the gym. I was going straight back and they were like, get out of the gym, you're not training today. So another really good thing for me is, like, after a fight, I sometimes have a little bit of a come down, like, as in, like, a little bit of a depression. I get into, like, got no routine anymore. I'm trying to rest my body, but I'm used to being at the gym all the time. Like, you've been on this massive high for so many weeks and then you're on a massive low. Like, I haven't had that this year at all because I've been back-to-back camp. So for me, mentally, I've been, like, just on it all the time, and I've absolutely loved that. It's been so much better for me. So that was one thing that I quite enjoyed about the tournament, just being constantly on a high and not having those lows and don't know when the next fight is and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You need a couple of days in Ibiza. That's what you do. Well, every time you get your win, you just have a little blowout. Is that right, Bren? That's what you do?
No,
just a couple of little days?
No, listen, that is an amazing point you just made, because this is not for everyone, this tournament, let me tell you, because when you have to be in the gym all year round, like, imagine, Adam, you finish a fight, you're doing a stare down, mate, before you've even took your gloves off. You've got you on a stare down with some... Mate, I've got a Russian staring at me, like, undefeated.
I'm trying to celebrate my win.
I'm like, mate, can I switch off for 30 seconds? Like, yeah. So that's a really good point. And I don't know, have you been doing the week off after?
Yeah, I have had, like, a week off, but I've kind of kept myself. I've crept in the gym a little bit and crept out. I went and Kayla said to me, I think Kayla kicked me out of the gym last time because she was like, I've done this tournament, get out. And, like, get out, you need a rest, your body needs to, like, just have a little bit of a chill. Like, I know you've had, because for me as well, because I only had, like, 1 round from a fight, I felt like I had no excuse to be out of the gym. But you forget, you've still done that 6-8 week camp. Your body's still gone through all the same things.
It's that mental, you have to try, don't you? But listen, you're in the zone. Man.
No, listen,
it's very difficult. I'm
getting really good at switching off now, mate. Let me tell you, like, I'm getting switching off too much, mate. I'm like, I can't be arsed turning it back on.
Just make sure you switched on in November, yeah? Just make sure you turn back on in November.
I'm like a school kid on a Sunday now going, I've got to go back on Monday. You know, like when you was in school and you had to go back. That's how I feel now. But listen, once you get back in the swing of it, 1 or 2 days, dust the cobwebs off, mate. That rest is the best thing that you can ever do. Honestly, that 7 days, like, even mentally, like we was just saying, you're doing a stare down straight away. I don't even look at my phone. I'm constantly on my phone making stuff happen in media or doing this. And that week of just letting go.
Yeah.
It's vital, mate. Now I actually feel ready to go back. When you don't take it, I've done it where I'm not taking it. You just burn out. Honestly,
Yeah.
by the next camp gets tedious 2 weeks in, and you just don't even want to be there anymore. So I'm glad you're taking that route, and yeah, you've done the perfect thing there.
Yeah. I think the one thing I've missed is like I used to go like to Bulgaria. I used to go like motocrossing in between camps, but you just haven't got time to do any of that. I feel like I'm missing out a little bit on like this is the life that I choose and I absolutely love it, but then I'm missing out on like being home with my nana and my family and making memories, and it's just, and then you think next year I'm probably going to do the tournament again, and it's like sometimes I feel like I'm missing out on loads, but
listen,
you know, I get it. You make hay while the sun shines, mate.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
This is like the craziest conversation to have with you now, because that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I have felt for a long time. Adam, you're right what you're saying, but the flip side of that is, mate, this is incredibly hard mentally. Yeah. Like, when you're away from your family, I remember I went 12 months without seeing my family, my mum, no one, because it was COVID, you weren't allowed to leave America. And like, yeah, you're making money and, you know, you're making history and you're fighting, but like, it's really, really difficult. Like, she's in Miami now, whole family's here. I've seen how tight she is with her family. It's really hard. So yeah, listen, I'm with you on that one. Trust me.
Yeah, it's tough.
Listen, you two, keep doing your thing, man. There's a lot of people rooting for you, and when we do get, I'll say it again, when we get to Saudi Arabia in November, right? There'll be a lot of people there, all celebrating, and they'll all be along, and you can have that great time, can't you?
Yeah, and then guess what, Adam? You get a month, to say
you're a champion.
Again? And then guess what? You're back training for the 2025 season. They don't leave you alone.
Listen, there's no silver lining here for Brendan. He's not having it.
Hey, Adam, come on. That's how I've ended up 30-5, mate. I've been here 5 years.
Listen, if you've cashed £2 million on them checks, Sunshine, and a few belts, we're sweet, lad. Don't you worry about it.
Don't be going anywhere yet, because next year we want a Manchester card. 2 world champions this year, and they have to do it. They have to do it next year.
I'm going to win this belt and switch my phone off, change my number, and speak to no one ever again.
No, you're not doing that. Not yet.
I can't wait.
Listen, we'll find him in Ibiza. Don't worry. I know where he'll be. I know where he'll be.
And bring him home.
Listen, that beef life's more dangerous than the fight life, let me tell you.
Listen, Dakota, thank you so much for giving up a bit of time to come and join us. Yeah. Stay fit, stay healthy during this camp, and November, bring it on, mate.
Exactly. We got this. Come on, have a good camp.
Thank you so much, guys.
Time to get stuck into any other business in the world of mixed martial arts. And we're going to throw first and foremost to an interview that took place on our channel a little earlier on in the week. If you've not seen it, it's available for you now. Go and get stuck in. But here's a little clip. And it's Frank Mir. That's right, the legend that is, talking about Tom Aspinall and John Jones.
Yeah, I kind of get it because, look, it's an entertainment sport. There's no way that, Tom is a phenomenal fighter. I think he's going to be a really great champion. When it's all said and done, he might have some accolades that's very similar to John's, but they're not at this point. John is, for all rights, a person, undefeated fighter. John has beat everybody. He cleaned out a weight class and then moved up and took on a very dangerous opponent and took on, became a two-weight champion. John has 2 wins over Cormier, who's arguably the next best guy ever in the world at 205. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm just that guy that sits there and goes, hey, when you've kind of earned a little bit of credit, you've earned it. It isn't like John's out there like, okay, this one fight. I'm like, what about the 15 other championship defenses he's had? You know what I mean? Like, he's, so he's beat a who's who and cleaned out of a weight class. So John's the GOAT of our sport right now. I get that Tom, and I totally don't blame him. I would do everything. If I was Tom Aspinall, I would do everything I possibly could. Maybe show up at his house, get him to be pissed enough to take that fight, because that could just completely catapult his career. Beating Tom Aspinall is not going to do nothing for John's career at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Well, 10 years from now, we say, yeah, man, he came back and beat Tom. No one cares. Now it's current. I get it. So that's why it's conversational. So that's why people may be pushing it for John. Oh, it's his legacy. I'm like, guys, 10 years from now, no one's going to remember that. No one's going to even think about it. No one's going to even talk about it. We're going to talk about the numbers, because that's what people put in the history books. How many title defenses? What was the ranking of the guys he fought? Who he fought? How his winning streak? To be practically unbeaten in MMA is unreal, unheard of. Especially in heavier weight classes where people get caught all the time. You know what I mean? It isn't like he's the 35-pound champion. Like, well, those guys really have a low knockout ratio. He's a light heavyweight and moved up to heavyweight. You can take one wrong step and be the better fighter, and everybody at that weight, man, everybody over 200 pounds can knock out anybody else, right? And so I would be interested in watching it. I think that could it move the needle a little bit for John, but I get it for what it'll do for John to the wrist, because Tom's a good fighter, man. The guy fast hands. I can sit there and pick out about 5 different reasons why I think that Tom could win. At the end of the day, if you should put my money down on it, if they fought within this year or fought within 12 months from now, from what I know of training with John, from what I've seen from Tom, I think John has about a 70 to 80, 90% chance of winning the fight. You know, people go, oh, he's older. I'm like, he's 37. He's not old. He still has a reach advantage. He still has a crazy kick advantage that like Tom hasn't showcased that as much. And then if Tom closes distance, he's never submitting John. And John out-wrestles him. Absolutely. That a takedown contest, he can't take John down one time. Zero. Absolute zero. John's wrestling is unreal. He's if John had gone a different path in life and maybe had that problem in school, so he would have absolutely been the Olympic gold champion at wrestling. You know, because that's just a part of it. He out-wrestled Cormier. You know what I mean? Cormier's accolades in wrestling are through the roof, you know, and guess what? If they wrestle today and say, hey, first to 5, I don't think Cormier gets to 1. You know what I mean? Like, that's just John's ability to wrestle is unreal. I think that now where I do think that makes it interesting for Tom, John's kink in his armor, like when I spar with the trailer, he doesn't do well with speed. If you're fast, it gives him a hard time. He needs his length to overcome that. And then if you come in fast and maybe miss, and he grabs you, then he wears you down because of his wrestling ability. You know, you've seen problems. I mean, hell, Machido's, I think, one of the first guys that went around against John. If you watch, you know, even Vitor Belfort was having success on their feet with it. Speed, and then, you know, what was it, Dominic Reyes. Really, I mean, that was a close fight. That fight, I didn't argue with anybody. You sit there and go, well, I mean, John won, Dominic won. I'm like, hey, here's the point. I don't think either one's strong enough for me to sit here on a soapbox and shout out to the roof to this guy that he won. I would agree who got either way. I'd be like, okay, I can see that. And so, and again, movement, speed. So Tom kind of represents that. He's a very explosive, fast hand heavyweight with good movement. So there is a good chance that he could be a very dangerous fight for John, because some of his accolades, some of his attributes are weaknesses of John. So I think it's interesting. I think it's every fight for Tom to make. I get it. For his sake, I hope he gets it. For John's sake, you know, I get why he just avoids it, because it's like, what's it going to do to me, to the risk that it could be?
Now, Brent, I'm going to be honest. I love Frank Mir, legend of the game, and who am I to doubt whatever he has to say about the world of mixed martial arts? He knows far more. In fact, he's forgotten more than I know, mate, right? But I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that in the slightest. And you know I don't agree with that in the slightest. I think listen, I'll be generous. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I genuinely do, because John Jones has stood the test of time. He's a sensational martial artist. He's proven it at light heavyweight time and time again. He's been at heavyweight once. He did the business against Silligan. But we're talking about the next generation of heavyweight that is Tom Aspinall. And I think that he causes an awful amount of problems. To only say he's got a 10% chance in beating a 2024 version of John Jones, I think he's a little bit far-fetched.
No, I'll agree with that. 10% is wild, really. It's quite, you know what I mean? I wouldn't expect that from Frank either, really. I mean, Frank's a very, very wise man in the game. He's been a very, very good commentator for a long time as well. And he understands the game a lot. And I definitely get what he's saying. You know, he's part of the old school. He's part of the John Jones era. So, you know, you can understand why he's saying that. But the new breed, man, Adam, there's a whole new breed out there, bro. There really is. There's a whole new set of skills. I mean, you know my thoughts on John Jones. We've sat and discussed this GOAT chat many a times. And I think you made a very valid point there. I put it down as a complete 50-50. I would never doubt John Jones as a fighter. I wouldn't. But Tom Aspinall is incredible everywhere. And yeah, I just think it's a bit of a wild statement to put that fight 90-10 anyway. Do you know what I mean? To put that in anyone's court. But are we ever going to see it? unfortunately, I don't think so.
I agree with you, sadly. But I like what Tom's doing. I like that he's trying to poke the ego. I like that he's trying to get a reaction
Agreed.
from John Jones. Jones is hell-bent on fighting Stipe Miocic. It's not announced yet, but that's the direction that we're going. And if that's on the table, I think that's what he's going to take. But if there's enough noise, there's enough money. You never know, mate.
Imagine he just flips it on it and then goes, "Come on, then, lad. Let's just have it."
But let's analyze it, because the way Tom's behaving and the way that John's reacting is just building it more and more and more and more. So the fan base now are all looking at it going, that is the biggest fight in MMA. I need to see it. Tom Aspinall, John Jones, I need to see it.
He's baiting him in. He's biting. He's biting.
But it's making us even more interested in it.
Yeah. Listen, I've been watching the back and forth on Twitter, and I know you have. And Jones is getting annoyed, mate.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Listen, do you know who I am? I'm John Jones. What are you all on about?"
But the new generation don't know who you are, because we haven't seen you fight. That's the problem. The new lot that are all on the Tom Aspinall train, that have seen Tom Aspinall do his thing, they've seen Jones fight once in that period of time. That's all they've seen.
Yeah,
you're going to have to go back and look at the old tapes to see what Jones. Come and show us, John. Come and remind him.
He's biting bit by bit. He's getting more angry by the hour. By every comment, he gets more angry. I think it's the closest we've ever been, but I still don't think it'll happen. What about you?
I don't think it'll happen, but keep poking. keep poking. Let's see what happens.
It's definitely working, mate. Anyway, keep going, Tom.
Keep rattling the cage. Keep doing your thing.
For sure.
You may have seen, speaking of heavyweights, that we've got a new co-main event. It was always on the fight card, but I'm led to believe that this is the co-main event now. Volkov versus Cyril Gane. The rematch is going to be the co-main for UFC 308. I personally originally thought that it was going to be Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. I thought that was going to be a co-main because it seems like an obvious title eliminator in the middleweight division. But with it not being a co-main, you kind of then get the insinuation that that's not going to be a 5-round fight, because that's where my head was at with that co-main event, and it's now going to be a 3-round fight, which you would think, Mr. Loughnane, would suit Mr. Chimaev a little bit more. If it's 25 minutes and he doesn't get Robert Whittaker out of there in the first 5, we've seen it time and time and time again. He does struggle down the back end of a fight, doesn't he? If it's a little bit shorter, does that favour him going into a fight with Rob Whittaker?
I mean, look, we've watched Whittaker go 5 rounds with Yo Romero, Darren Till. We've watched him go, have absolute wars. The guy is a 5-round fighter. He's just as fresh in the 5th as he is in the 1st. He's a cardio machine. Do you know what I mean? If we've had one criticism of Khamzat over the years, he does fade a bit towards the end of fights. But wow, I don't care if it's 1 round, 3 rounds, 5 rounds. I just want to see this fight. I'm really after watching what he just did to Ikram, and that's the best I've ever seen Rob Whittaker look. The reads, the feints, how fresh he was in there, how aggressive he was, the timing. I really want to see that fight now, mate. I really do.
I think that's the thing. I think the majority of fight fans aren't bothered whether it's 3 or 5. They just want Khamzat healthy, get into a proper fight. The proper fight is Robert Whittaker, and it's an absolute blockbuster, whether it's the co-main, the main, opening up the prelims. Doesn't matter. Everybody wants to see that fight, and it should be an absolute blockbuster. Another fight that everybody wants to see is Bilal Muhammad defending his title against Shavkat Rakhmonov. We all thought that he wanted a quick turnaround. That's what he said in the aftermath of beating Leon Edwards and becoming the champ. I want a quick turnaround. I want to get back in there. I want Shavkat. Woof! Music to my ears, mate. Nobody says that name. Now, we're being told that fight has been offered, but Bilal's not going to be ready for October. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you want to enjoy the riches of becoming the UFC champion. That's fine, and it's your prerogative, my man. But as far as I'm concerned, there's no need. I've seen Bilal make comments saying, well, maybe Shavkat needs to fight Usman to prove that he's worthy of a title shot. Let's stop that. Come on, he's next. Shavkat Rakhmonov's next, whether it's October, November, December, or 2025, doesn't matter. He's your next fight in the UFC.
Yeah, I'd also be putting it back as well. I'd be running around with that belt as long as I could, mate. I'd be enjoying all these spoils, and I'd be saying, can't Shavkat wait till 25 by any chance? Do you know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, they all want the smoke until the smoke turns up on them sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Like, Shavkat is the smoke, innit? He's a really hard night for anyone. And, like, if it was me, and I was Bilal, I'd definitely be like, can I have a bit more time? For a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
You've just had an hard fight. You know, you put
Hard
the work
camp,
in.
mentality, everything about that. You need a rest. You need
Exactly.
a rest.
Exactly. And you want to parade the belt. You want to enjoy the fact that you're now a champion. You want to get more endorsements. You want to get more media time. You want to bring the belt around. He's been to Palestine and doing all this type of thing with it. So, you know, he wants to make the most of it before Shavkat turns up, mate, because that is an hard night. It's a tough night at the office.
Very, very tough indeed. That concludes our show today. Thank you very much. We're hurtling towards a UFC fight night this weekend. Enjoy that. And then next week we'll be previewing the Sphere, Noche, everybody's favourite Mexican, Mir Abdulashvili. I'm saying that in jest. I know he's not Mexican. He's kind of adopted it, obviously, for this big night. Taking on Sean O'Malley for the Bantamweight Championship. And we've got Alexa Grasso, of course, fighting Valentina Shevchenko for the first ever female trilogy in the UFC. There you go. Another stat for you, mate. Just sprinkle.
There it is.
Sprinkle.
Hey, listen, you couldn't end the show without bringing a stat out, could you?
Just thought I'd throw it in there. Throw it in. Anyway, that's all to come next week. So make sure you like and subscribe to the talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel, and we'll catch you next time.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.